So I was talking with somebody and they just asked the question, how did you become enlightened and how do I become enlightened? And I thought that's a worthwhile video. It inspired maybe some distinctions on just how it is that you can't become enlightened, yet that you're enlightened is already the case isn't really that accurate either. It's all words are just at best pointings. It'd be more accurate of a pointing to say that all that there is enlightenment. Anything at all that comes to mind, anything at all perception-wise, all that there is already enlightenment. It's the already aspect which is kind of tricky, or seems to be. That's covered up in some ways. One way, again, words are just pointers, but one way to point is to say that we're all covering it up without realizing that we are, with the single reference of having been born. The only actual self that there is infinite. Which of course means you are that infinite self that I'm referencing or pointing to with words. All that there is our infinite self. This is our infinite self. We could use the word experience or creation. I like the word creation. Just to point to this, to our infinite being, our infinite being's being, or aka this, or creation. Not insofar as that there's something separate called creation. But the reasons that you can't become enlightened, and yet it's simultaneously true that it's not true to say or accurate to say that you already are enlightened, and that it's much more accurate to say that all that there is enlightenment, is because it's synonymous with infinity or the infinite self. So if I wasn't born, probably comes to mind, then the implication here is that I'm infinite and created this and then forgot that I was born. And that's a more accurate pointing, but it still implies that there's a past in which you created this, and then were born into or within or something along those lines. The tricky aspect is that there just isn't time. It's useful, it's common, it's practical to reference it and sort of utilize the references to time, but there isn't actually time passing. So it's not that you created this in a past, it's that you're being this, I want to say right now, but of course words are so tricky that even saying right now, the only distinction of now is other than some other time, such as a past or a future. Now is just a close pointer, but there's no now either. You might say that you could peel away the layer or the label of now, and then there's just this as it is, which can't be named or defined by you because it's you. By every measurement, scientific or casually or whatnot, by any measurement, you're a person, you're the body, but all the measuring and all the measurements and all the bodies, etc., 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 are all the appearance of our infinite self, or our all creation. On the monthly Zoom group Q&A calls, a trend started where the calls typically start with just trying to at least give some idea, a concept that points to the whole point of the call, what it is we're talking about, trying to reveal, etc. And the calls usually now start with that nothing's happening for no one, and therein you are the creator of reality. Which I guess can seem, I don't think that the words are confusing. I think if there's any confusion, confusion begins to set in. I think it's actually easy to at least comprehend what those concepts are saying. The confusion seems to be the false self, the ego, the individual, that all arises, for now I guess I would just, to keep it simple, I would say in thought or as thoughts that are interpretations or ideas of myself. That's where the confusion starts. Something else that just arose today was kind of breaking down confusion, that it's in the sense that it's two words put together, con and fusion. So there is there is something which seems to be the case, but I'm using the word con loosely here, not so much in sentiment, but in a pointing sense, that there seems to be something which is the case, which isn't actually the case. That would be that there is the separate self, the individual, the finite self, the ego, etc. And then the fusion seems to be this attempt to fuse together, to somehow work together or conjoin or something, the notion of a self or the false self that is really just the idea of a self, the idea of a self kind of sums it up. The idea that I am a separate self. Trying to fuse that together with that the truth is that this is myself, not this separated guy or person or human or being or whatever word you like, really. That this, the whole of experience, all which can be referenced, all which could be pointed to, that's myself. And then even the word self can go, because since you are infinite self and are not a separate of infinite self, it's not actually possible to point to infinite self. And so the word self doesn't even really, it just doesn't hold water. But it does in the sense that you are. So I guess in summary, maybe bringing these points together and bringing it home, bringing it as intimate as possible. If you're on a path and there's a thinking of linear time added to that the path is going to lead to the end of suffering in the future, feeling better in a future, becoming enlightened in a future, for as much as it can be heard, what's being said is that's not the case, because there's never an experience of the future. Therein, nothing can happen in the future, and that activity, a thought, or that thinking would be the very overlooking of this is already it. This is enlightenment, in the sense that all there is enlightenment. This is our infinite being, and infinite, by definition, means no finite. Other ways to say that, other ways to point to that, thoughts arise about parts of me. That linguistically, that seems to be fairly common. There's no parts of you. You're already the whole. I mean, look around. I'm pointing to everything. That's the whole. You're already the whole. You're already complete. You can't get any more than complete than infinite. You're already complete. I have a prior video that, if memory serves, is called Unconditional Experiencing Conditions, or something very close to that. That's another good point. It's another way to look at it, I guess. Conditions arise. Well, I can't already be complete because I can't already be whole because. So the ultimate pointing, really, the clearest pointing is infinite is synonymous with unconditional love. That's reality. And again, hear it to whatever degree you hear it, but unconditional love is reality. Reality is unconditional love. There isn't anything else. And there's no catch. There's nothing you have to do to get here. There's nobody that you have to be you. There's conditions as thoughts that arise. Just like there's preferences as thoughts that arise. Just like there's meaning as thoughts that arise. There seems to be separate things that some are more valuable than others. There seems to be separate selves, that some things or people are more valuable to me. That's all just a testament to like you. Your unthinkable awesomeness as this. How complete are you in that you can be this, and how complete is this that I'm just pointing, not something separate, but I'm just pointing to this as creation, as experience. How whole and complete and just unthinkably awesome are you that you're appearing as this, and within this experience is just this richness that's so easy to take for granted. The tactile aspect of it, sensation, memories, that it's all just right now. How perfect are memories in the light that they're only a right now happening, and yet seem to just expand this out for years or a lifetime, or in some cases even lifetimes. How unbelievable, really, are you? No one knows. But this unbelievable. This is literally impossible. That there's this, and it's this earth in a universe, and that there's this this God somewhere else. All that's impossible. It's not possible. It's not the case. It's not happening. Yet there's this. Self-love. On a last note, self-love. Best definition or best pointing I've ever heard came from my mom. And it was a day that I just had some things on my mind. And she just said, well, to me, self-love is you look at, it's 11 a.m., you look back at, you got up at 6 or 7, and you could have just been loving this. You could have just been appreciating this. You could have just been, kind of relishing in your being and just enjoying it. as it is, no conditions. And instead there was these conditions going on, etc., etc. So I would just offer, I guess, on a parting note today, that self-love is just allowing the love that you are, the self that you are, allowing the nature of that, which is unconditional love. Just allow it right now. You can't, you certainly can't in the past, you certainly can't in the future, nor do you have to. You're not tasked with that, if you will. There isn't even somebody who has to do the allowing. There isn't even an allower. There's just words at point. Just actually enjoy it as it is. God bless.